What's the deal? This is the Antisocial Raider, and if you are a Raider fan or if you love football like I love football, then this video is for you. This channel is for you. Now, if you are not yet subscribed, go ahead and subscribe, man. Help me build this channel up. If you like the content, then like the content. If you have something you want to get off your chest, then go ahead, drop a comment, man. Let me know how you feel. Today, Today we got a mock draft, man. The entire 7 round mock draft with trades. Now, if I was the GM for the Raiders, this is what I would do. This is how I would build this team. These are the positions, the possible players that I would target in these rounds, man. Let's go ahead and get into it. A quick side note, man, the videos that I am using in my video, they are all on YouTube. If you want to check them out, man, I'm gonna leave the info to the channels in the description down below, man. Go check them out, man. You probably already know who they are, man, but appreciate the all the channels that the videos that I used, man, and yeah, man, let's get into it. Raiders got the first overall pick. It's pretty obvious by now. Fernando Mendoza is the guy. I love Fernando, man, as a quarterback prospect. He's what you want. Um, he checks all the boxes, man. Football IQ, instincts, accuracy, leadership. He has it all, man. If you want to get in depth, I mean, you know, processing, of course, decision making, accuracy. Accuracy is nothing without making good decisions, right? You could have all the accuracy in the world, but if you have a habit of making bad decisions, then it really doesn't matter at that point, right? And not just about making good decisions, but making good decisions fairly quickly, right? You only have a certain amount of time before the defense is able to get to you. So being able to make good decisions, being able to make good decisions fast, and then being able to deliver, man, being able to execute and having an accurate pass, great ball placement, all of those things put together makes him such a great prospect, man. Fernando Mendoza, he stands at 6'5", around 225, so he's tall enough to see the field, which is very important for the quarterback, man. If you're a cerebral player like Fernando Mendoza, being able to see the field is very important, man. You have to be able to see everything in order to process everything. Does that make sense? You know what I mean? You can't process something, you can't take something into consideration if you don't see it, right? And those are the problems that a lot of shorter quarterbacks have. A lot of shorter quarterbacks, they rely on passing lanes, right? But passing lanes, those are for the quarterback to throw the ball to the receiver. That's it, right? It's a passing lane. It's not a visual lane. You know what I mean? So a lot of times there could be a defender, you know, standing right out of his line of vision. You know what I mean? Because you have offensive linemen all in front of you, right? Those are like pillars, like big pillars. All you can see is through that passing lane, but you can't see behind the defender. You know what I mean? Somebody standing right there sitting in a zone and you end up throwing the ball and he cuts it off. You know what I mean? But being 6'5", being able to see the field, it helps him a lot. Right? So Fernando Mendoza, number one, checks all the boxes: accuracy, ball placement, leadership, football IQ, instincts. His pre-snap processing is great. Being able to know, okay, I know where I'm gonna go with the ball pre-snap and then execute, right? Even if he gets, to his third, fourth progression, he's able to create. He's able to get out, and his accuracy, when he gets out of the pocket, his accuracy, it doesn't diminish, right? He's still able to have that accuracy on the run. He's still able to have that ball placement while on the run, right? Now, also, the problem that a lot of quarterbacks have when they're put in that type of pressure and they escape, when you're put in that situation, your time's running out, right? And that adds a tremendous amount of pressure, right? And so that type of pressure, when you know the clock's running out, when you know that there's defenders closing in on you, that could cause you to make a mistake, right? With Fernando, as you can see in the tape, he's able to do these things, but still be able to stay calm under pressure, man. And that's a rare trait to have as a player, in general. So for him to have all these things, for him to be consistent, man, the Raiders couldn't have been in a more better situation as the one they are now when it comes to the quarterback position, man. So Fernando Mendoza, number one overall, that's who I took. Now moving on to round two, like I said, I did trade back. I traded back two times in this draft. The first time was in the second round. Now, what I did, I traded back to 41. I believe it was the Cardinals. I did give up later round picks, but I ended up getting a third round, right? So I got an extra third round, and then I traded back again in the third round, and then I got that late round pick back again. So at 41, I ended up taking nose tackle Lee Hunter. Now the Raiders, they didn't they didn't address the interior defensive line at all during free agency, and it's not a big deal because this draft class has a lot of interior defensive linemen that could help with the Raiders. You know what I mean? So I expect them to go uh trenches early, and for me, Lee Hunter is that guy, man. In the second round, whether it's 36, 41, it don't matter. At 41, I took Lee Hunter, 6'4", about 320 pounds. Now, a lot of nose tackles, you don't really see like traditional old school 6'4", 6'3", 345 pounds. You don't really see those guys no more. It's more of a hybrid, right? So these nose tackles, they move kind of well, right? Lee Hunter falls in that category. He's an elite run defender, right? He does have to work on taking on doubles. I think he could fix that with technique. It's not about power, it's not about strength. He has it. I think it's about technique. So if he could work on that, then he'll be an elite run defender, right? Right now he's a great run defender. If he could work on taking on doubles, he'll be elite, right? Pass rushing upside. Now, from what I've seen, he has a good bull rush. He could drop his hips a little more and drive a little more. It'll definitely help, especially with NFL talent. He does have a great swim move though. When he comes off the line, that initial swim is quick, it's effective. I've seen it numerous times on tape, right? So being able to have these tools in your pocket, be able to pull them out whenever you need to, and for them to work, it's a great thing to have, man, especially for a nose tackle. So great run defender, pass rushing upside. The Raiders need a nose tackle, man. I think he's the best one, definitely overrated. Better than McDonald, better than all of them, man. Lee Hunter at 41. That's who I took. Moving on to the third round. Now, like I said, I traded back from the original third round. Ended up getting a late round pick back. So it's not 62 that I picked at, it's at 65. And at 65, I ended up taking Jennings Dunker. Man, I love this dude, man. Offensive tackle out of Iowa, 6'5", 315 pounds. Jennings Dunker looks like a Raider. He plays like a Raider, man. Um, there's a lot of questions that fans and people out there they have with Jennings Dunker fitting in Kubiak's scheme. I'm gonna just say this, man. The comp that I have for Jennings Dunker is Abraham Lucas, right tackle for the Seahawks. Just played in Kubiak's scheme, and one of the reasons why they made it to the Super Bowl and ended up winning, man. Being at an offensive tackle position, you don't have to be considered athletic. You just have to have good feet, right? And Jennings Dunker moves well, right? He's not slow and sloppy. He has great leverage. As an offensive tackle, what you want is somebody that's able to stay patient, right? Good feet, good hand, good eye coordination, all working well. You don't you don't kick to the outside too, you don't want to have too much urgency to kick to the outside because what that does is create vulnerability on the inside, right? And then the edge rushers that have extreme athleticism, they could easily attack the outside, force you to go out, and then boom, move inside, right? But with Jennings Dunker, he's able to remain patient, right? Because he knows eventually the edge defender has to come back in, right? If you're starting way out there on the edge, you could take whatever angle you want, but if you take too wide of an angle, you're just gonna go up the field instead of inwards where the quarterback is, right? So the offensive tackle is in the middle between the edge defender and the quarterback. Eventually, you have to come in, right? And it seems like Jennings Dunker understands that, right? So he remains patient, doesn't create any vulnerability, and then the physicality at the point of attack, man. Power can neutralize athleticism, right? It's the same thing with wide receivers and corners, right? It's the same type of aspect. The one-on-one battle that they have, it's very similar to the battle that the edge rushers and offensive tackles have, right? Jennings Dunker, man, he fits in the scheme, plays like a Raider. That's who I took at 65. And the extra third round pick, man, this is the 78th pick. I believe this, yeah, this is Arizona's, I believe. At 78, I ended up taking linebacker Harold Perkins. 6'1", about 230, somewhere around there. Harold Perkins used to be an edge rusher that converted into a weak side linebacker that converted into a star. Right now at LSU, their star position is somebody that they move around a lot. You could drop back in coverage, you could line up like an off the ball linebacker, you can rush off the edge, things like that. Now Perkins, I think that he can play weak side and he can play outside linebacker for the Raiders, right? They got Nakobe Dean, so of course he's not going to start at weak side, but he can still get reps, right? Perkins is somebody that has great instincts, man. To me, he was the best player on the LSU defense, better than Delane. Perkins, I would want him. I wouldn't lock him down at a specific position, right? And this is one of the reasons why Quay Walker and Nakobe Dean signed with the Raiders. It's because the possibility of them being moved around, right? You're not just locked in one position and you know locked here and do that. You know what I mean? You're moving around. You're putting these players in the best position in order to succeed based on their skill set. And when you talk about the linebackers that the Raiders signed in free agency, the skill set that they have, Harold Perkins has, right? He can rush the passer. He's a great run defender, right? The only thing with him is that he's great in coverage. He can run a Tampa two. You know what I mean? He can line up at the weak side and run Tampa two, right? He could go out to the flats and do all that, and he'll be great in coverage. He will instantly be the best cover linebacker that they have, man. You need depth, right? They have depth at the middle linebacker, but that not so much the weak side linebacker or outside, right? So Harold Perkins, man, I think that'll be a great addition to the Raider defense. That's who I took at 78. In the fourth round, um, I ended up giving up pick 102 in one of those trades. I ended up getting back 113, and at 113, I ended up taking safety Zaki Wheatley, Penn State, standing at 6'2", 200 pounds. Zaki Wheatley, he has versatility, right? We need free safety help, and he can play free safety, right? Also, in the future, if they end up signing another free safety or drafting another free safety, he could easily move to strong safety, right? So that was one of the biggest reasons why I drafted him, but not also that he's a great player, man. Free safety, he's pretty he's like lanky kind of, right? So he has range. He's great in coverage, great deep. If you want to put him at single high, he's great at coverage, right? Due to his instincts, due to his size. He's also a great tackler. Man, if you put him in the box, he has the size to stay in the box too, right? To be a box safety. He's great in run defense. Great instincts, great play recognition, right? The plays that I've seen when they had him in the box, his ability to diagnose the play and then to anticipate and to, you know what I mean, play downhill and come away with the tackle. I like what I seen, man. I think that he'll fit the defense. Um, very similar in size to Jeremy Chin, and also the skill set, right? Being able to play the run well, being able to have alignment versatility, right? Um, if you want to add a young player to the safety group to the safety room, man, Zakee Wheatley in the fourth round, you can't go wrong. The second fourth round pick, I ended at 117. I ended up taking Malachi Fields, wide receiver out of Notre Dame, standing at 6'4", weighing 220. This dude's big, man. A traditional X receiver, traditional boundary receiver, the best receiver at Notre Dame, one of the most underrated wide receivers in this draft class. He doesn't have like mind blowing speed, but he consistently gets open downfield, right? He high points the ball, which is very important, man, especially if you're a bigger receiver. You have to be able to use that height. You know what I mean? You can't just reach up and expect you're tall enough to snatch the ball out, man. You have to high point the ball, man. Use that height, use that vertical. He's a bigger guy, so he does. If you look at the film, he is good at using his body weight, you know what I mean, to not sort of bully, but to maintain good position as a wide receiver, right? Um, Late round pick, I mean, you can't off the bat, he's better than Dante Thornton. Immediately, you draft him in the fourth round, he's jumping Dante Thornton, right? And that's just the reality of it, man. This wide receiver class is so deep that you could get a starting caliber wide receiver in day three, man. And for me, that receiver was Malachi Fields. At 134, the last pick in the fourth round, I ended up going running back, man. Roman Hemby, 6 foot 210, former teammate of Fernando Mendoza at Indiana. Um, just a great complimentary piece to Ashton Genty, right? Roman Hemby, he has great vision. Um, he runs hard, right? There are a lot of things that he needs to work on, and there's no doubt in my mind that he could fix these things, right? When I put on the tape, he has a habit of swinging his arms, right? He holds the ball high, but he doesn't hold it tight, right? And that's something that he's gonna have to work on, man. When he runs, you can see like the ball, you know what I mean? He runs like he doesn't have a ball in his hand, right? And that creates vulnerability, right? That gives the defender something to attack, man. And he's definitely gonna have to tighten up on that. You gotta hold the ball high and tight, man. You know what I mean? Protect the ball. He also runs kind of high. Um, he's a strong runner, man. But in order to fully have run with that, with you know everything that you got to your full potential, you got to be able to get low. You got to be able to have leverage. You know what I mean? When you run high, you sort of take away that strength. You know, but that's pretty much it, man. He has great vision, so he'll fit within the zone scheme, man. He is a fourth round pick, so you know can't really put too much in it. That's why I took fifth round, right? At 175, I ended up going with the cornerback position, Dalen Everett, I believe that's how you pronounce it. Corner out of Georgia, 6'1", 190 pounds. Not somebody that I was too familiar with at the beginning. I ain't gonna lie, I drafted him and then watched his tape. He is somebody that I heard about. Obviously, he's not like one of the worst corners in this draft class, man. But when I look at his tape, this is what I seen. I seen instincts, I seen IQ, I seen physicality, I seen tenacity, and I seen run defense. Right? He's great at playing the run. He's great at attacking the ball at the catch point. Ball hawk, sort of. I don't know if he had a lot of interceptions, but when you attack the catch point, you're gonna come away with some, right? Um, PBUs all day. That's what I see, man. I think that he could be somebody that could rack up a gang of PBUs just due to his instincts and his physicality at the catch point, man. Great run defender, man. Somebody that we need on this Raider defense. Yeah, man, that was a fifth round pick. We needed a corner. Whether you think Darian Porter has what it takes to start, you still need depth, right? I can't name anybody outside of Eric Stokes and Darian Porter that they have right now. And we don't just need depth; we need talent at and depth, right? So Dalen Everett, day three pick at the corner position. That's what I took. Now moving on into the sixth round. Remember, I only got one sixth round pick because I did a couple trades. The pick that I have is 208, right? I ended up taking Demonte Capehart, defensive tackle out of Clemson, standing at 6'5", weighing 315 pounds. This to me is kind of getting repetitive, but this is the best defensive tackle prospect that you're gonna get in round three, right? Um, in the tape, you can see he lines up as a nose tackle at times, so you have that. You have the versatility. I don't know if he's going to be able to do that in the NFL, but he has alignment versatility, right? He can line up at the zero tech, one tech, three tech. You know what I mean? All along the offensive line. He does have good run defense, very physical. Um, Same thing with Lee Hunter. He's gonna have to work on taking on doubles. Um, I mean, he's a six round prospect, man. He, you need depth, right? Adam Butler is going to be leaving in 2 years. I don't think he's going to be re-signed. Booker's on a 1 year deal, I believe. So getting somebody like Cape Hart, man, with potential to start, potential to rotate, plays with physicality, could stop the run. That's what I took in the sixth round. In the seventh, the last and final pick at 219, I ended up taking Will Kazmarek, tight end at Ohio State, standing at 6'6", 260 pounds. Now I know in one of my other videos I had the Raiders taking the tight end at day three, man. This one's a day three pick also, but it's in the seventh round. Now hear me out. Everybody's gonna think about Brock Bowers. Everybody's gonna think about Michael Mayer, but look, when you run 12 personnel, which is two tight ends at one time, you need depth, right? Also, Brock Bowers has missed a lot of games since entering the league, and so has Michael Mayer, right? So if somebody goes out, even if it's for 2, 3 games, you still need players. You know what I mean? You can't just say, "Oh, well, now we're not going to run 12 personnel." Nah, you can't let that affect you, right? Now, every position is going to have depth, right? So I mean, it's a seventh round pick. What do you expect? Not only that, he adds a different element to the tight end room, right? Now, Brock Bowers, everybody knows he's a pass catching tight end, right? Michael Mayer, everybody describes him as a blocking tight end, but to be honest with you, he's better at being a pass catcher than he is at blocking, and that's just the truth, man. Michael Mayer is 6'3", right? About 220. That's like the same as Brock Bowers, but Brock Bowers is 6'4", I think, right? This dude, Will Kazmarek, I think that's how you pronounce his name. He's 6'6", 260 pounds, right? At Ohio, playing behind Klein, I believe his name was, Kazmarek became the blocking tight end, right? I mean, 6'6", 260, you better know how to block, right? So being able to take him in the seventh round, using you're not using, high value pick, but you're adding another dimension to the wide receiver room, right? You're adding depth, right? You're adding to the special teams play. You know what I mean? You're adding value to the team, period, right? And when I think about it, when I'm going down the list and okay, well, what position is going to help this team, right? I done already took every other position that's going to help, right? You could do offensive guard, but it's like you can get offensive guard some other way. I think that the offensive line, especially if you add Jennings Dunker, the offensive line is good now. You already added Tyler Linderbaum. You got Jennings Dunker in the draft. You got JPJ. You got Rogers. You got Grant. You got all these guys, right? You got to add depth to the other positions, right? And getting Will Kazmarek, 6'6", 260, could block better than any of the tight ends that we have right now. Um, that's why I took him, man. Great value, potential starter, and that's it, man.
That's gonna do it for this video, man. I hope you all enjoyed. I am gonna keep doing a few of these mock drafts leading up to the draft next month, but I won't be doing a lot. I'm not gonna kill you guys with a bunch of mock drafts, man, because I know a lot of times it just gets repetitive. You know, I like the players that I like, so it's kind of like me just taking the same players over and over, which I've kind of been doing already. But yeah, man, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Man, if you are not yet subscribed, man, please subscribe. Help me build this channel, man. And like I said, if you like the comment, like the content, then like the content, man. If you got some you want to get off your chest, man, go ahead and drop a comment, man. This is the Antisocial Raider. Thank you for tuning in.